this again, Africa's problem. It's a very serious problem. When we keep assuming that other people will solve problems for us, will address our problems, really this is a serious matter. In 2000 and in March this year, one of the leaders of one of the rebel groups that had reached agreement with the government in 2009, on the recommendation of the government, working with the ICC, the International Criminal Court, they recommended that he be arrested for whatever crimes he would have committed. But because of that, the other members of this group, he led or was one of the leaders for, that's what sparked of this matter. Because they are saying, no, there has not been integration as was recommended in 2009 by these former leaders that I mentioned. All you are going to do to resolve the problem is to start arresting people in collaboration with ICC. There are already two people, leaders in Congo who have been arrested by ICC. There's one, a man called Thomas Rwanda. There's another one who used to be the vice president of Congo called Bemba. And so it has become a way of dealing with opponents. You keep shipping them to the head, to ICC. But at the same time, the hypocrisy that is here and the real problem that is here, most of these people wanted for whatever crimes by ICC, it is done on a selective basis. Most of these people who have maybe committed crimes, I don't know, actually have been doing everything they have been doing together with those who are recommending for their arrest. You see? So, in other words, so how can you have people working together to do whatever is seen as crimes, and then you pick only a few of them and leave the worst to be the ones to be recommending the others for enlightenment? Now, and we have been telling these people in the international community that they are messing up the situation. Some of these matters for which they are arresting people are matters that need political solutions. Because the same people recommending for these people's arrest are as guilty as the other ones. Yes, who are recommended for arrest. Anyway, so, but the international community is too big to listen. So what they have been doing through the UN, they use the, sometimes they want something and they just start a process that will lead them there. Well, first of all, ICC is built on the premise that this is a dispensation of justice, international. But as we know it, they are looking at it in its broad sense. It has become a court to try poor people, Africans. This is the way you look at it. But let's assume it's not entirely true. I still would wish that to get rid of these concerns, I wish Africa could have its own court, or at least a level that really satisfies itself through a legal process, that such a case deserves to to go to that other level of ICC. You see what I mean? Say, at the AU, African Union level. In fact, there's also something that we have in Africa called the African Court of Human Rights. Yes, it is there. And I was saying, why don't we make sure that this African court satisfies itself that a case in Africa that is going to be handled by ICC actually merits going there as the level that, you know, serves in the process of checks and balances, so that people who have these concerns are satisfied that this is the case. Otherwise, a court from somewhere just comes and says, we are interested in this one. You know, you look at the people as they are shipping them to hell all the time. I think we need to look at it differently. It's not about opposing justice or international justice. We are saying it must be fair. I'll tell you something else. There's something they call universal jurisdiction. You see, universal jurisdiction presupposes that anybody, anywhere, who has committed a certain crime of a certain magnitude will face justice, right? Therefore, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you are in Asia, America, Europe, and Africa. But we'll find, in this case, it only applies to people in Africa and nowhere else. Why? Are we admitting, or are we saying, is it true, this is what I'm saying, that actually these crimes that deserve such attention are only committed in Africa? But we also know in history the relationship between these crimes, even if they are committed in Africa, the relationship between these crimes and the Africans with those elsewhere. Some of the crimes talked about have originated not only in Africa, but in a combination of things that have happened in Africa and outside of Africa. So what happens to those who have the responsibility, who are outside of Africa? These courts don't touch it. This is the question that is asked. It's not about whether there should be international jurisdiction or not. It's about its fairness. It's about the fair process that people are talking about. With the ICC, there's something confusing because in the debates, they also tell you that actually ICC deals with the cases in countries when those countries, one, are not able to handle such cases, or if those countries request, meaning their governments request for ICC intervention. Well, I don't imagine that Bashir's government requested for his arrest. So that Africa also has a say in it. Otherwise, if somebody else is going to just pick and choose from outside who goes to ICC, including these heads of state, then the whole thing is abused. So my worry is about the abuse. It's not that there is no need for international justice. In fact, there is a need for that. But how is it conducted is the question.